Hey, what's going on, beautiful people? I'm glad you found the video. In this one, I wanted to address just a bunch of different questions I get all the time. So, this is the best hobby ever. It's collecting the money that's already in your pocket, just knowing what to look for, and then putting it in your collection, possibly selling it later for more money. So, it's turning money into money. It's the best thing ever. You had to be at least like a little bit interested to even click on the thumbnail, but maybe you were like, who's this funky looking dude, and just wanted to get a laugh. But anyhow, I want to talk about three different things with the hobby of just collectibles in general, I guess. But most importantly and most specifically here on this channel, collecting currency. So I'm going to talk about just getting into it. If you've never even considered it, then give me a couple minutes of your time and then you can peace out and never think about it again. But at least you might have learned something new. So I'll talk about getting into the hobby just briefly. So also if you're already into collecting coins and you want to get to how to buy and or sell them, then you can skip to those parts. Or you only have to live through a minute or two and then you're to those. Anyway, so I'll talk about getting into it, buying stuff, selling stuff. So quickly getting into the hobby, it's the easiest thing ever. You can start with the change that's right in your pocket. Pennies are the easiest thing, or Lincoln cents, if you want to refer to them as the correct term. Cents or pennies are the easiest thing to get into, along with any other circulating change. So your nickels, your dimes, your quarters, and then although you don't see them too often, right in your pocket, Kennedy half dollars, which you can get from the bank in rolls. So pennies are getting really a bit harder to find as far as requesting them from the bank or getting them in kind of rolls and stuff from other places. But you can go through circulated change, get into it. All you need to do is reference online stuff, which is usually free. You can go to my website, varietyerrors.com, which is always free. And in fact, it has removed most of the advertising, so it's not popping up on you. I used to have advertising to kind of pay the little $10, $15 fee per month for hosting, but it was just more annoying than me just paying the $15. So I took that away because I love y'all, and I don't want you to be annoyed with pop-ups. Also, you can go to a bunch of different websites. You can go to Heritage and see old auction sales, a bunch of new stuff, PCGS, great collections, Variety Vista, Copper Coins, a whole bunch of websites. I have another video, and on my site I mentioned, I have all those links to those other sources, which I'm not affiliated with. I've just used them for years. I don't even know those guys. So I don't know if they're cool or not, but their resources are great, so the links will go there. You can also pick up a red book, a blue book, and then if you go to any expo or coin show, you can get a lot of info from the cool folks there, the coin associations there, or you can even see copies of the gray sheet or pick one up yourself, which is used most commonly in those situations and at local coin stores for prices on what to kind of buy wholesale-wise. So anyway, those are ways you can kind of get into the hobby. Checking stuff out here on YouTube and other social media. Joining groups on Facebook is also a good way too. So the next part I want to talk about is buying coins. In short, this is a quick one and probably applies to any collectibles. You guys can comment what good places you want to buy or you do buy from or you have bought from or you know other people have bought from, so that way you can just weigh in your opinions on that. So I won't mention any specific spots other than the big ones like eBay and stuff. eBay's okay, but I don't personally buy a lot of coins and stuff, on eBay. Now, there are a lot of certified sellers on eBay that are good, and I have bought a lot of supplies from eBay. So coin flips, coin capsules, even good albums. I've bought a couple loops on there that I've gifted to others. And then, there's other places like Walmart.com and stuff that you can get supplies. You can also get it from Littleton. And I have links on my website under the shop tab that just go to really good picks on Amazon that I think are really good price. So those are good places to buy supply. As far as coins are concerned, I always am a big supporter of the local coin, silver, gold shop in your area. I would suggest supporting them, not only because they're a local business, but usually they're a wealth of knowledge And it's a good ally to have, if you ever get to the next part I'm going to talk about, which is selling your stuff. You guys can mention in the comments good places to buy from. Feel free to link them, and so others can jump over to their sites and buy them, and just make sure they're verified stuff. I think that's the biggest thing. Make sure the person you're buying from, whether it be silver, gold, coins, whatever in the currency realm, collectibles realm, just make sure they're a verified and well-reviewed seller, so you don't become the victim of some scam and get ripped off. Now, speaking of selling, let's talk about selling your coins and your currency, your collectibles in general. When it comes to selling them, that's a comment I get like all the time, email all the time, stuff on the community tab, the random comments that are like, I have a 67 penny, I want to sell it. All of us want to know how to sell it. First things first, if your coin is in raw format, your banknote's in raw format, then you don't necessarily have to get it graded to sell it. I'm part of a ton of different Facebook groups, a ton of different groups online, and you can definitely sell ungraded stuff all day long on those groups. But you have to be a certified seller on there. Different groups have different requirements, prerequisites to be a seller on there. So you can join those groups. Again, you can link those if you have good ones that you're a part of, and you can sell through there. In most cases, I think it's best to get your stuff graded. Unless you're selling in person to a store, you're selling through one of those groups, or you're selling in your own private sale of some sort, then having it graded is going to be the easiest way to associate it with a market value. And I think that applies to like anything. So if you collect trading cards, comics, vinyls, whatever, you can associate your graded item now with stuff that's sold. So for example, in most, if not all of my videos, I use auction results from PCGS, from Heritage, from Great Collections, so they're verified. I'm not pulling prices from the sky, and they're all within the last couple of years. I usually, even personally, if I'm going to price something that I have, I look at the grade. Let's say it's like an XF grade. I look up other ones that are that coin, that grade, and kind of average the last year or two, since there's highs and lows sometimes and bidding can be funky. Also keep in mind that different grading companies sometimes sell higher. So like PCGS and NGC generally sell higher than Annex depending on the type of coin, banknote, whatever, if it's like PMG. PMG is kind of like the gold standard along with PCGS so far as paper currency. But as far as selling, getting your stuff graded first is easiest on all ends. Trying to sell it is easier, as well as finding a buyer is easier for graded stuff, because it has that provenance, that history, and the auction results that you can back up your specimen, your item, your collectible, so to speak, with actual auction results for that same grade. So at least that's my advice, my tips on how to get into it, how to buy stuff, and how to sell stuff. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, especially over in the community tab on my channel here on YouTube. And then, of course, on my Facebook page. You guys are so great about sharing your experiences, places that you like to buy stuff, and ways to avoid being ripped off, which is like huge in this hobby. There's so many fakes out there and so many fakers, counterfeiters, and con artists that it's always good to help each other avoid those situations. So hopefully you learned a couple little things. You enjoyed a couple of my tips on how to get into the hobby, buy stuff and sell stuff. But let me know what you think in the comments. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. So I'll see you there, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, guys. Have an awesome day.